Yep, that's me. I'm sure you're wondering why I'm struggling like this. Let me tell you something. I shot this video. I started shooting the video at 3 p.m. this day, okay? And because I was craving some Ghana jollof and Suya grilled Suya tilapia. So yes, the struggle was on because the tilapia was still frozen and I was trying to cook in time for supper. But we'll get back to the tilapia. Let's look at the ingredients we are going to use to marinate the tilapia. So I have here some onions, ginger, garlic, and pepper. I don't like pepper, so don't come and chastise me, okay? I'll blend these and then add it to my suya spice. So this suya spice I got from the market, so it has everything, so including seasoning and then salt. And then I'll add my blended ingredients I showed earlier and then give this a very good mix to incorporate all the ingredients together. So this is what we are going to use to season our tilapia. So I've worked on the tilapia. We are doing fine. We've drained all the water from it, or at least most of it. So I'm going to go ahead and smear our marinade on the tilapia. So you can use gloves, but frankly speaking, I don't ever use gloves when I'm cooking at home. So that's why you would see that I'll massage the marinade into the fish without wearing any gloves. I know sometimes the pepper worries your hands, but to be honest, I don't really mind, okay? So as you can see, I'm massaging the marinade into my tilapia, and I'm going to be using this aluminum baking tray because I'm going to put this in the oven. You can use a rack if you want, or whatever oven safe dish you have at home, or if you're going to use your air fryer, to use an air fryer safe dish or a rack, or the rack in your air fryer, okay? And then you're good to go. So one thing I'm going to be doing here is that once I'm done putting the marinade on the fish, I'll leave this in the oven or wherever, but I'm going to put this in my oven, not turned on, and allow it to marinate for about 30 minutes so that the spices will penetrate deeply into the fish, okay? We don't want any bland taste in tilapia. If you're going to be doing this overnight, please reduce the amount of salt in your marinade or else your fish will become too salty. Seafood doesn't require too much salt, okay? And again, I know I'm not using a rack, right? But once I smear the marinade onto the tilapia, I'm not going to be turning it in the oven. The side that is touching the baking tray will still get grilled or cooked, okay? So don't worry about that. So our fish is ready now. Like I said, I'll be keeping it in my oven and then I'll get started on my Ghana jollof. So in goes my oil, and then I'm going to add some curry powder at this point and drop in some bay leaves and then go ahead and fry my onions. So let me just point out that this jollof rice recipe is not going to be systematic, like, you know, it's okay, because like I said, I was running against time and I needed to like put stuff in very quickly, okay? So as you can see, I added some sardines. So I had it in the fridge. I was like, if I don't use it now, it will be in the fridge for a long time, so I just added it. And then I added some powdered pepper for some heat, of course, because I hadn't blended anything, or I didn't have intentions of blending anything for the jollof today, okay? So once that was fried, I went in with my tomato paste. So I had previously blended some tomatoes and onions in the fridge, okay? So I'll be using that later. So no need to stress myself this particular day I was filming the recipe, okay? So once the tomato paste is nicely mixed up, I'm going to cover this and give it about 5 minutes to fry properly so we don't have any sourness in our jollof rice, okay? If this is your first time here, hello, my name is Yasmi, and this is my kitchen taste and bloom. Please consider subscribing and joining this amazing blooming family. And if you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much for coming back to watch me. So at this point, my tomato paste has fried beautifully. I'm going to go ahead and add my blended onions and tomatoes I mentioned earlier. Once my tomatoes and onions are mixed in properly, I'm going to go ahead and season my stew base, okay? Today I'm using just chicken seasoning cube, okay? I'm adding nothing else, no salt, because I realized that when I added the cube, everything was on point. Like, I mean, the salt content, okay? So I was good to go. So once I give this a stir, I'm going to allow this to cook also for about 7 minutes, and then we'll come back in and add our rice. One thing you should always note is that you need to wash your rice before adding it to your jollof base. Listen, it's a game changer when you do that, because if you don't get proper rice in, the starch in the rice will disgrace you and your jollof, okay? So please take note of that. And like I always say in my jollof recipes, know thy rice, okay? So that you know the amount of water you are going to be adding in there. But one takeaway is to toast your rice first. Once that is done, you'd realize that the rice sort of like absorbs a bit of vapor, moisture. Then I would say you have a fair idea of how much water you need to add to finish cooking your jollof, okay? But whenever you're in doubt, just add water bit by bit. Seriously, in the end, you would still have your jollof the way you want it. But let's get back to our fish, okay, which has been marinating for 30 minutes. I'm going to go ahead and mix in some oil with the small marinade we have left in the bowl, okay? And the oil is going to help lock the moisture in the tilapia. We don't want to grill this, and when we are done, it's not juicy, like it's not moist in there. We want to maintain the crusty outer cover of the tilapia, mimicking like you fried it, okay? But still, the inside will be juicy, so let's take note of that. Do not skip on the bit of oil, okay? Once it gets into your oven or your air fryer and it comes out, you'll be happy you did that. Once I put this into my oven, I'm not going back in there to add any more oil or seasoning or whatever. But if that's not your vibe, you can go ahead and take out your tilapia or check up on it and then add more seasoning oil if you like, okay? But mine is ready for the oven now. I baked these at 180 degrees Celsius, that is about 350 degrees Fahrenheit, for about 35 to 40 minutes, right? And then, yeah, this is our jollof, is doing well. Like I said, I was toasting it. And then I'll go ahead and add in enough water and then cover with my kitchen napkin and allow it to cook. If you've watched the video till this end, I'm super grateful for you. I'm going to assume you like what you're watching, so please give me a thumbs up on the video. Leave a comment down below and let me know what you think about this recipe as a dinner or lunch idea. I'm sure you're going to enjoy it. Let the chicken rest, okay? And have some fish. You can use any fish of your choice and then you're good to go. So I'm leaving this on my fire on low heat for about 10 minutes, and then I'll come back to it and check up on it. As you can see, the water has drained out beautifully. I'm going to give this a stir, and usually at this point I'll add butter, but I didn't have butter at home, so I'm going to use margarine. I know they are not the same, but I just felt like I should, okay? So I put this in the middle, allow the heat to melt it up a bit, and then go ahead and fry it or mix it into the jollof rice, okay? And then I'll cover and leave it to finish cooking. At this point, my jollof is ready. My fish is also ready. My jollof is looking exactly like how I want it. I think this, I'll call it fluffy, okay? And then I'll plate up and we'll enjoy our dinner. It was 7 when I finished filming this video. I just said, let me show you how the tilapia looked in the oven, okay? And then we plated with a bit of coleslaw, and that was supper. I hope you enjoyed watching this video and are inspired to try this very simple Ghana jollof and suya grilled tilapia or fish. In my next video, I hope to see you again, and until then, keep blooming.